Hey guys, so while I was out to pick up a few more of these e-paper price tags to supply the lifetime supply, I was spontaneously able to also pick up a bit of different retail market stuff up, and it's quite interesting what we got here. So, for example, a bit of EC card terminals, a bit of PCs for the cashier system, some VM system, a hand scanner and such. Or these are quite interesting. These are the price info scanners. You hold your item under it and it will request via network what it is costing in the system. A bit of printers and a bit more touchscreen PCs also for the cash registers. But really the most interesting, but also the heaviest of them, is these automatic cash changers, for once here for coins and also for banknotes. So you just make your self-scanning at the cash register. You will put in your coins here, it will automatically sort it and give you your change back. And here also you just put in your bills and it will give you back your change money. And these are just impressively built, as they are for once need to be secure, of course, and also need to detect the bills correctly and everything. And here's even this bill box where the overflow goes in. But here on the bottom we have these different sections where the different bills get saved to give them out again, and they will then just travel to the top and come out here, and you insert your bills here on the top. And on this coin changer it's even more impressive. If we open it up, you see all these hoppers. So you basically put your money in here, it falls into a first hopper, gets sorted inside, and will travel to the correct spot to fall into one of these hoppers again. Let's see if I can make it visible. These are basically just hoppers like in slot machines. And if you want your change back, these hoppers will eject the coins needed. They will fall into these slots and go onto a conveyor belt that goes here to the top, and then if it's closed again, falls into this pit, and you can grab your change money. And so it will be a nice time to take them apart to look how it really works. But I will definitely not spend too much time on it to reverse any security or something like that. Just playing around and taking a look at it. Okay. So here I am already back with the system in a more or less running state. I will go over it a bit, and I'm doing it right now already, as it was just too easy to get around everything, to just get the basic function of this cash recycling working. And let's just take a look on how the route did go and how I ended up where I am right now. So what I really did was connecting all these wires dangling around the system. They look to fit together for example the USB plug for the touchscreen from the monitor and the HDMI cable, which was just only fitting in there, and the USB connectors and such. And overall it's that each of these devices has a few of these locks, but all of them are very basic and really not meant to be hardened again picking or anything, as they can be opened quite easily via such a basic picking set. So we have, for example, this. And by opening up this lower lock, which we have on both the coin acceptor and the bill acceptor, we can slide the complete contraption to the front. And we see at the bill acceptor this box in the bottom, which contains more or less Linux running PC, which has all the basic stuff plus the HDMI output. It's basically like a Raspberry Pi. And in the coin system we don't really have anything in the bottom, just this coin compartment and the USB connection, which goes out here and into the PC on the other side. So after I connected everything together and turned the power on, we can for once see that everything is lighting up, but also you hear them calibrating and everything, and it's quite noisy overall. Just to give you more or less the sound you can hear after all this calibration takes place. The PC is booting up after a while, and you can see the boot screen. And already here it's more or less visible that it is maybe just a web front end that is running. And then we are greeted by this just basic overview. This now says you have to pay 0 amount, you paid already 0, and you get back 0 as well. As the system is now waiting for the cash system itself. So like you scan your items and press on pay, and you want to pay by money. It is waiting for it via network, but by more or less touching around, I haven't figured out where to really touch. You can get into a login screen, which maybe will open up in a moment. There we go, where we can for once see the current money that is inside of the devices, which is everywhere 0. But pressing on the menu, we will be greeted by this login screen, and that's where I did hang for a while, as I have no infos, no keys and nothing. But looking a bit further, we see this like first person game obvious compartment, which we can open up, look inside, and find an SD card looking around here. So I took it out, made a backup of it on the PC, and there we will continue now. So back at the PC, we can see here this 4 GB SD card dump, and sorry for not screen recording it and just filming it like that. Inside of it we have 4 images now, which are also extracted here. But looking inside one of this image, we can see first of all this basic structure, and by going into the FCC we can already see some very obvious, more or less in-depth settings of the system. And by going into the user settings and opening it up, we can get this list of all the possible logins. And most interesting is this CI server, as this has the authorization level of 5, which no other user has. I took all these password hashes, put them into John the Ripper, you can Google it, and got quite fast the correct answers for what I searched for. So not only I am now knowing the username, but maybe also the password of it. I will try to not disclose it here, as it's really not meant to blame anything. And I just wanted to get the system running. So by knowing this, which was really easy, more or less, I mean I had to search through a bit of these files, but we can also see some other quite interesting names here, which I will not open right now. And then we can already go back to the system to show it maybe working. So installing everything back together, the SD card and such, closing everything and putting here the right credentials in, which I will do now. It was the username CI server, and the password I will just wipe away. You can take a look at these gorgeous cables. We can log in and have more or less full access to the system, and from there on we can really play with it. So by, for example, we have here the CI10B unlock, which is on the build acceptor, this contraption. Normally you could push the button and this will flap open, but only if we do it like this. We can then unlock it and get out the build cassette, which normally would be used to go to the main bill counter system of this whole Glory system. And here would be all the money in. Then we can close it again. It will then calibrate, but we can also unlock the cache portion by doing it. We can pull out this thing here, which would hold the money, the coin money, and then you can bring it to the rest of the system. But also we can just insert money into the system by pressing this. It will tell us how much we have inserted already. But if we press start, we can see both are now waiting for us to put money in. And I will just now get a bit of money to show you how good it works and such. So I got a bit of coins here and a bit of bills, and this will be very loud, but I will just let you listen to it. And you can see at the same time that it will show the amount of money here. We should be able to put again in money, and I will now do the bills. And the really cool part about it is that you can insert like a complete stack of bills and it will sort it by itself. You don't have to put every bill on its own. I think I'm a bit testing it a bit right now, as I put a quite high stack in it. But you can see how it tries to get the money one by one. But you also can see that a few did not made it, as they were just too tightly packed. But they will just get pushed out again, and I can retry them, like so. And this is just very impressive to see. But you also see that the money was counted, and I can now finish it. And the money is now counted into the whole system. So if we go back, the money would be filled inside of it, and if the real cashier system, like you would scan your items, buy them and put your own money in, it would use now the money that I just put in to give you back your change. So it would give the bills out here and the coins, of course, here on the coin exchanger. But we can also like collect the money to get it back into the big fat system, which will be picked up by the bank at the end. And here we can select if we want to, for once, only collect the notes, the bills, the cash, the coins, or both. And if we want to just collect the over the top money, I would call it, or just everything. And I will now just press everything, and if I press start, it asks if you really want to do it. This is now also getting a bit noisy, as every coin pusher in this system now is pushing the money out and into this bottom contraption. And in the bill acceptor, it will push it into this bill collector there. This is now taking like around 2 minutes for each of these 9 coin hoppers to push out the coins. So after around these 2 minutes, the money is now pushed out on both devices. And what we can do now is unlock again the coin drawer. And we see that all the money is pushed out and the system itself is empty. We cannot see it right now. I will open it in a moment. And the same we can do for the bill contraption again. So like pushing here again, pulling it out, and looking inside of it, we can see that all the money is in here and nicely sorted by the value. And I'm really not sure, but these symbols really indicate some color system inside of it. So like if you would try to hammer it open, it would spit the color like in the movies on you. And here, let's just put it back in and close it up. And let's now take a look in both of these contraptions again, and really to maybe show how easy the opening is of the lock. We do it that way. So we have a very simple pick here and a very simple spanner tensioning device, and it's like open already. So we have here the inside of the bill acceptor, where we can basically see the money goes in here. And the first step is to align the money or the bills correctly, so they will get pushed in straight. After that we have this, like it looks exactly like a scanner, which will scan the money from top and bottom. We'll push it further down the line with a few stepper motors. And yeah, let's just not open it too much right now. It will then get pulled here and will be sorted into each space for the correct amount or the value. Or in the top row here is this cash or bill container, which you can put out. So let's also take a look again into the coin acceptor, where we have this same lock more or less, and it's really like so. And here again we have these hoppers, and it really looks kind of cool to see them aligned like this. We have these 8 values. And so that's it already for the basic function with the system in a normal mode without really using the cashier system, as this is not ready or I don't have it complete, and I may need a server for it to run at all. And it's really interesting to see what goes into the system, especially that it is made so easy to pick, or the security overall is not the highest, but I guess it's meant to be always observed, for once by camera, and the other type is just by the staff walking around. And when the store closes, it's really a different type. If someone breaks into the store, there's an alarming system at first place which will notify anyone else. So it's really not meant to be secure like a bankomat, where you cannot break it open or such, as this is always meant to be observed by someone. But on the same point, it's interesting to see how easy it is to extract the data. So if, like me, someone has access to it, someone can study the device quite a lot and maybe can find some root password in clear text in it. Huh? So it's really interesting, let's say it that way. But still, the next part is now to disassemble them, as it's really, even as a piggy bank, which would be quite nice, it's not really usable. Like, you for once don't want to leave them on all day, and second, just to put money in, it takes too long to boot them up, so they will accept any money. So it's really just very interesting to see what they do, how they work. It's always, if you go into a store with a self-checkout, you are looking into them or looking at them and never into them. It's nice to see how they work overall. And so, since I am reaching, most likely by the end of the week, the 10,000 subscriber mark, I would like to thank everyone who did subscribe, and if it's interesting for anyone to see, which seems to be, I feel happy about it, as I would look into these devices anyway, and just showing them to you is just the same amount of work, but even better, that it maybe is interesting for somebody else as well. Okay, see you next time.